So, and if you don't really care for the braid, hey, go for a 10 pound. 10 pound, 12 pound line seems to be a good number. Again, you are catching spotties. If you're fortunate enough to get a 3 pounder, I think 10, 12 pound, you should be able to muscle that thing in there. The next bait that has been really, really good for us, and now we're going into that area, the ski, that by Fiesta Island where the skiers go. We fish that area with a crankbait. I don't even know half the names, I just know they have good fish. On the map it says ski, South Shores and all that. Again, similar taper rod. Everything's different except for the bait and the lineup though. This is now a Cronart E5, so now it's a little bit slower line take. So now I can really get excited and wine. This is a medium deep diving crankbait. It says 10 pound, 10 feet, 10 to 12. But this is not a suspending bait. It's in Fire Tiger. Fire Tiger, they love this color. Okay. Yeah, other colors will work. I mean, you know, but this is what I found has worked for the last 3 to 4 months because we've been on spotty mode for, my goodness, for a long time, and I'm ready to get off spotties. But I've been on some big trips where they want to fish spotties ever since the Newport. No, let's go fish spotties. Spotties again. Let's go fish calicos. But this color here this happens to be a bomber in the flat with the black tiger stripes. Good color. Now this isn't a suspending bait, but if you find any type of crankbait that suspends, like some of the deep little ends, and there's a few more out there that suspend, get those. Those are the way to go. Okay. And this one doesn't suspend, so what I did was, in the very front, you can check it out in a minute, is I wrapped some solder, just enough to, it slowly suspends. Not so it sinks, the solder's kind of light as opposed to some of the wire that's out there. We found that certain gauge solder will actually let it ride. So. And I'm fishing 10 pound. 10 pound Isoline XXX. I like mono when I'm throwing cranks. To me, it's like throwing surface iron, and I like throwing the mono on the surface iron. You know, because again, you're casting it, wind it till you feel grass. You feel grass, kind of rip it, get some of that grass off, and pause it. Once you hit structure, you pause it. That's where all the bites will come. Okay? You can do anything in your excitement of fishing for the day, making your first cast, third cast, 100 cast, whatever it is. Check it out there, 50 million miles, wide, you feel structure, stop. No bites, one. A lot of times it will be on the pause or about 2 cranks after you pause. You can remember that. The key areas are grass to drop off. Okay? 8, 8, 10, 10, 10, 11, 12. Key areas. Really, really key. That bowling pin area is a good area too, and that 10 to 12 foot of water. Don't be afraid to throw the crankbait if there's too much grass. That's where people get frustrated, but you know, your rewards will be great with the crankbait. You know, we've got several 3-pounders over the last few months prior to the Chula Vista event. And that was because we were throwing crankbait. We throw it all day, you know, all day. When we won the Newport tournament, that's all we did was throw crankbait from the minute we started to the end of the day.
Which one?
We threw, I don't know what Keith threw, but it was this one that he likes a lot. And it's a good one. I throw that.
Do you allow you to throw this?
No, I dare not. It's like, I don't want to put any bad juju on it. That's why he fishes this boat. I just help support by netting the fish correctly. But no, he does. He has some particulars. You know, it's one of those things that you know, you find something that that just works. I don't know. Me, I find it and I tell the whole world because I like to share it. You know, because my motto, and it always has been, is still got to go out there and catch it. You know, you either get them or you don't. I don't know. Some days you get them, some days you don't. 61st place last tournament. Okay, and then the last bait that we threw, actually there was two more. This one, when the bites were really, really tough. This is like slack tie, nothing going on. And we're fishing a little 3/8 swim jig in like a shad color. And we're just running through the grass nice and slow. And just dipping a lot of hot sauce on there, just, I mean, so it looks like it's caked on, like it had too much gel in it. The more the better. You want to have some kind of trail, you want them, when they do bite, decide to bite it, you want to make sure they have that in their mouth so you can put the wood to them. And this is, again, I'm fishing 10 pound, different rod, just because this one has a little bit more taper on it. Obviously this is you know, we talked about being fortunate and blessed to have good things. Well, I happen to be with G. Loomis also this last few months. And I was lucky to get issued 20 new G. Loomis rods, 10 of the GL2s and 10 of the NRXs, spinning and otherwise. So this is the 10 to 17 model, and you see the taper on it. It's all tipped really fast. Probably more a jig rod in the freshwater, and that's why I went with the swim jig. But again, it's just either pitching it or just working it really slow, long cast. And I went to a higher speed reel because a lot of times those fish will bite it, maybe come at you. I want to make sure I get a lot of line take up. This is an E7, Grotto E7. Kind of looks like the Connor, doesn't it? But I like a little bit faster take on the line, just because sometimes that fish will bite it and come at you. So, yeah?
You ever get bit off with 10 pound? Actually, you nail it so much.
Not so much. Dock fishing, I don't. You know, he likes flipping 10 pound. It's just, you know, but you fish is different. You fish is different.
I broke a lot of fish off last year. The first time, I mean,
10 pounds brutal. Again, it sure is better than 6 pound and 8 pound. But 10 pound can be forgiving. And again, docks, I still believe that if you're round structure, you need to fish great. Like I fished 20 pound, flipping in the docks. So, but 10, yeah, no, straight.
What brand did you say you like on that 10 pound?
On the 10 pound, I like either Suffix or Eiser Line Triple X. And the only reason why is, and I'm not affiliated with either one, so thank goodness. I just have friends that, you know, is the memory is good, really good on memory. Especially that 10 pound Suffix, Siege. It's the blue one. I mean, you know, to be honest, when I'm in a fix, I go to Walmart and take care of it. You know, $8 and you're good. So, and they come in a 300-yard spool. But that 10 pound Suffix is great stuff. It can be in the sun all day, and it's still good the next time out. So, the last bait, and believe it or not, I was telling Mike Wynn this. He's the manager over at Turner's here in Fountain Valley. He goes, "You've been getting them." We were down at the Del Mar ship, okay? And I brought my boat and I fished every day I was down there because I was trying to take advantage of free fishing. He goes, "So, what are you getting all those fish on?" Because, you know, Evan Salve, you've heard of Evan Salve, deep casting. He had a 3-pounder one morning. He goes, "We're getting them on 5.5 each." He says, "Come on, 5.5 inch swim bait." He goes, "Oh, come on." I go, "No. 3/4 inch head, 5.5 inch swim bait." He goes, "They're biting." They go, we're even getting bit on 6.5 and 9 inch sledgehammers." No, come on. That's what I'm getting fishing for. But it's true. It's true. We were fishing, and some lucky person will be getting a pack of these. This size here, but with a 1 inch burnt head, toast, 5.5 inch. So if you have a limit in the boat, you've got maybe an 8 pound limit, okay? Start throwing the big stuff. And if there's 2 of you, 3 of you, there's 2 of you, one person just dragging this thing all day. Especially if the fishing's slow. Just lather it up with whatever scent you have. Tons of hot sauce, just dip it in there. Just drag it through the grass. And it's going to stop. And you go, "Oh, I'm stuck." It's going to go the other way. This is good color. I also like, this is what's been working for me. Okay, toast.
What's it called? What color is that again?
This is toast, number 20 toast, big hammer, number 20 toast.
Is that 5.5?
5.5 inch. 5's a good number. They can inhale this better. The 4-inch, you're getting a lot of the 12 and 13-inch fish, and that's because we're like, give me a bite, please. You know, this is like, give me a bite, please bait here, the 3/8 and 3-inch, 4-inch baits. This is like, got five in the well, I'm going after some big ones and calling out fish. This is the way to go. And again, people go, well, but, you know, it's been proven, and the only reason why I thought of it was because Corey Sanded at MC Swim Baits, and all this guy's been fishing 7-inch baits. I mean, there was no secret. Corey's been doing it for a while. A lot of guys have been doing it for a while in different bays. So, big bait, big fish, you know, it's that theory. So, Mission Bay, that's why I brought so many rods. It wasn't because I usually bring that many. I only bring 3 or 4. But for Mission Bay, there it is. You have any other questions about Mission Bay? Good luck this weekend. Beautiful weather this weekend. Think of me on, what's your tournament Saturday, right? When you're tired at home doing your honeydews on Sunday, I'll be at San Clemente.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
It'll be good for me because I'm dying to catch some fish. I've been fishing. You know, I posted a picture on Facebook. It had me for the fish from, I think I posted it yesterday or today. That was from, I fished 3 days this week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I thought it was pre-fishing for the saltwater bass series tournament for Saturday, but my fish aren't there. There's a bunch of fish to be caught, but my fish aren't there, so I'm giving it up because I don't want to give it up to the bass. But there's some fish to be caught. You know, weather's going to be good. We have this good stretch of nice, beautiful weather, and a lot of the bites I've been getting on. How many people like fishing freshwater? Who's back on freshwater? Okay. What's your favorite type of fishing, Floyd? Freshwater. I'm sorry?
Fly fishing.
Fly fishing?
Fly fishing.
How about freshwater bass, largemouth?
What?
Anything? Yeah, anything.
My favorite fish is probably lightning trout, bass.
Nice. Okay. Largemouth? Largemouth, smallmouth?
Oh yeah, trout small.
That's next on the list, the big bear.
Yes. Yeah, I fish largemouth, smallmouth.
Okay. And what's your favorite technique?
I like to fish worms, spinnerbaits. I fish small cranks.
Okay. Anybody else?
Gene,
Jake? Okay.
Fly rod poppers.
Yeah, poppers. Well, this late spring, we're flipping. Okay, we're flipping in the kelp. We caught 2 fish on the beach, and you know, I'm not going to get too much into water and conditions, but one thing I can go at you is if you're in your boat, if you have a boat and you're in your boat, and it says 58 degrees. 58 degrees. Usually your transducer, your water temp meter is maybe at the bottom of your boat. So that's surface temp. It's going to give you surface temp unless you have a troll motor that has a temperature gauge. Then it's another foot. If it says you're 58 up here and it says 56 here, it's telling you something. It's telling you 2 feet down, it's colder. So guess what? And you're in 20 feet of water or 10 feet of water, 2 more feet, it's going to be 54 degrees. And guess what? But the way I figured it out was the few fish we did catch flipping, those things were white and cold. I mean, literally cold. And I wish I would have had a thermometer just to take the temp on them, but my guess from talking to some of the divers, it's 51 degrees on the bottom. Okay? So 58, 51, you know, I wouldn't be doing too much in cold weather. It's just like us. When the weather's nice, get out, put your shorts on, sandals, you know, fill the cooler up with some root beer, head to the beach, you're out doing things from sun up to sundown, okay? But when it's cold, you got a jacket on, you're a little slower, especially you young guys, you start creaking a little bit. Don't do too much. Oh, and I'll do that like next week when it's like 90 degrees, okay? But it's the same thing. You have to kind of figure it out when you're on the water, and sometimes it's difficult to do that. So if you happen to be out and you have your own boat and you're pre-fishing, kind of let the fish tell you what they want. You know, we were up the first day on Sunday, we're throwing, you know, big rip baits, we're throwing big swim baits, and we're not getting bites. See the fish, they're on the meter, it looks great. You know, certain areas we flipped, we pitched and drag baits. We had to find different cover to catch a fish. That fish that I had posted was basically flipping on this rod here. And you can ask me questions later about these rods. So I'm not going to talk about the rods too much, but I'm going to talk more about the equipment behind the reels. I can tell you these are Terramars. That's what I can tell you. But this is a 5.5-inch big hammer. Again, it's that color again, toast. And it's on a Slayer swim jig in an ounce. And you see it's kind of beat up. This is the same thing I used for the last few days. It's all beat up because a lot of those places we were flipping were areas of kelp. And I can tell you this much, from PV at Rats all the way around, a lot of kelp's been ripped up. The problem we're having is the water's so cold that the roots of the kelp are growing fast. In 51-degree water, kelp loves that sunlight. You know, you got sun and you got cold water. It speeds up that growth process pretty quick. What we need is 58, 59, 68-degree water down there to kill all those kelp, some of them, and get some areas so the fish can move out. But it's very simple when it's a slow bite, and we call it flipping, just like in freshwater. It's basically me and my son were standing on the bow, and we'd see kelp stringers and just drop it down, drop it down, drop it down. You either got bit on the sink, or you would just sit there, pop, pop, let it sit, boom, you got bit. Or you didn't get bit at all, you wind it up, you find another stock, you pitch to it, you do the same thing for 3.5, 4 hours. Okay? Sauce it every now and then. We ended up with, about 20 pounds of fish. But it was painstaking, but, we were kind of figuring out, this is on the third day, this is on Tuesday. On Monday, we didn't figure it out. I caught one fish that day, Matt caught one fish on the break wall, and then my partner Eric caught a spotty in Huntington Harbor. See, on Sunday, the day after all that terrible weather, we went from Furman, Whites, the golf course, all the way around the Rats. Rats worked their way through. Came all the way back to the golf course. Whites, Furman, the break wall. Worked a long stretch of the break wall for one fish on a crank. Okay, we got to catch some fish. Huntington Harbor, spotty fishing for an hour and a half. Came back out for one spotty. Troll, traversing out of the harbor, booked 5 fish. Traversing, because you can't stop and fishing in this harbor. Traversing. By traversing, boat moving. Not fishing, just trolling. So anyways, we were at the outside for a nice spotty on a crank on the outside of the hunting wall. Came to the Seal Beach side for nothing. Oh, one really big hookup my son had came off. He's fishing 10-pound on the break wall. And then from there, we went home at like 4:30 after starting at 5. So we put a full day. This is Sunday. So I go, this water temp's getting better on Monday. It was better, and that's when we figured out this was better. So slow, yeah, slow is good, but also methodic. Think of it freshwater. One thing about positioning, if you're positioning your boat just like the freshwater guys do, is the wind's coming at you. Point your boat into the wind and drift backwards. Because usually the way the current was going was wind against current. You want to make sure your presentation is going with the current. Fish usually face, current's going this way, fish face that way. They're looking for bait coming at them. So think of that in terms of that. I don't see much surface bite yet, but I wasn't out today or yesterday. Good chance I could be out tomorrow for a few hours, so I might look at that. But that's what that program was. What we did throw was all this stuff here. I mean, this is like, and I'm sorry, I kind of missed something here on the rod. What I was throwing was, again, I talked about the bait, but 65-pound Power Pro, straight tie, uni knot. And I've been fishing this way for years, and everybody has preferences. A lot of anglers like the leader. I don't, because I hate tying a lot of knots. It breaks off, you got to tie it in the leader, and then you got to start over. There's some great knots out there. Tony Pena knot, I believe, is one of the best knots. And you can look that up, just Google Tony Pena. And thank goodness for the web and all it offers, good and bad. But I like it because I have one connection only here. What about abrasion, Ben? Well, I think if you hook them, start winding. You know, the object is to hook it and bring it in the boat. So that's what I do. I try not to play it because, you know, you got 65-pound braid. You know, the braiding strength is 65 pounds. That's a lot. So if it's a 4, 5, 6, 8, 10-pound calico, you should be able to put the muscle on. So 65-pound Power Pro, green, red, doesn't matter. All the business is right here. Okay? And that's another reason why I like fishing just straight without leader. The fish they're looking at this stuff right here. I think when you're eating a fine steak at Ruth Chris, I don't think the plate you're looking at, right? The plate has no bearing. The tablecloth has no bearing. It's that hunk of meat and a potato that's to the side. That's just my feeling. I care less what the plate looks like. You know, it's just my feeling. And this is on age. This is on a new rod. I've been field testing new Terramars. I was actually okay to talk about them now. This is new Terramar, still TC4 construction. You notice how narrow the blanks are now? Split grip, much lighter. When you pick them up, you'll feel very nice balance. Even with the 300 TV, very nice balance. If you're not too partial to this, you know, it may not be your cup of tea. If you're old school, you know, the old diamond grip or even fork, it may not be your deal. But I'll tell you one thing, for weight-wise, and much better, lighter, a lot lighter, and more manageable. So 300 EJ, YDA EJ. I like the cranking power. You know, that and cast, you can cast a mile with a 1 ounce head. And no drag, no drag. We want to hook them and get them in the boat. Especially when you get one bite a day. You want to make it count. So that's it. And again, I'll have all these rods you can take a look at. But we were throwing, you know, I like to start big in the morning. I like throwing 9-inch swim baits. This is a weedless, but I like throwing 9-inch. For me, I like, you know, because we're after big fish early in the morning. General rule for big fish is an hour after sunrise, an hour before sunset is general rule for big one. We did hook a good one early that just came off. And that's because, again, I think these fish are cold. They're not committing to the bait yet. And I like throwing, you know, 9-inch. Sometimes I like throwing this weedless in the wash because it just goes in there. It's on about a 3/8 or 3/16 8 owner weighted hook. So it sits in there, you know, goes into the wash. And it's on a 9-inch sledgehammer in red calico hunter. And in the water, it looks kind of like a shrimp or some crustacean. And it just kind of sits in there and these big fish will pick them off. Not only is it good for throwing it in the wash, but also good in the kelp when there's no conditions. So it's kind of like Corey's weedless bait, the slug, without that much frustration.
So you're casting into the rocks, which is straight
Right in the beach. And again, 65-pound Power Pro EJ, and this is the flippant. This is actual weedless rock that we have. So again, it's a little bit softer than I'd like, and we did some modifications where it'll be more tipped, but it does shut down pretty good. So 9-inch swim bait every morning. One of the go-to everything outfit is a medium heavy rod. Again, 65 pounds Power Pro. It's same old song and dance with me. Maybe because I'm an old guy, we get stubborn. You know, as when we get over 30, we get a little stubborn. You know, I graduated in 77. 30 plus. And I throw an 1.5 ounce head. That's all I fish. 1.5 ounces, an ounce. I just don't fish anything lighter because I like to cast between them, especially when I'm covering water. This is kind of like your search engine. This is morning, beach, you know, big fish targets. Sun comes up after that 1 hour, you know, deal, and now I'm just searching to catch fish. This is my good search bait. Color-wise, I like red calico hunter And I also like toast. I just happen to have this in there because this is the last bait I had tied on. But this color here, Crystal Cove, clean water, Catalina, clean water, the beach, clean water. Clean water, Christmas tree. Why? I don't know. They just like it. I mean, that's honest truth. They like Christmas tree. A lot of big fish caught on the beach, on this color. 5.5 inch, 6.5 inch. And I don't get all funky with some of the heads. They're pretty basic, except for the toast. It's either red, yellow, or burnt heads. 1.5 ounce. And all I'm doing is just casting and winding and just searching. Again, 65-pound braid. It's on a kind of a. This is the heavy. Yes, the heavy Terramar. We're talking not much at all. And it's on a reel that I can't tell you about. Of course. But it's silver. Okay.
Does this manufacturer's name start with an S?
Yes.
Okay, that's all we
Better,
have.
I'll be in trouble. If it was a D, I'd be in.
Yeah.
You've already seen it out on the web and everything else about this reel, so I don't need to say anymore, but you'll be able to put it in your hands today. So what I trust in you is that it stays in the room. That's why I felt confident bringing it. How do you like it? Excellent. Big cast, mile. The torquing power, the cranking power is great. Notice the handle's a little bit larger. And I don't have a 2-paddle. Oh, here's a 300.
That's better than EJ?
Pretty good, pretty close. Yeah, pretty close. It has darn good free spool. 10 ball bearings, 2 roller bearings.
What is it like, Cassie?
It's this is 300. What's it look like? 200, huh? 300. I have a few in my possession that aren't 300, but one bigger and one smaller. But this is 300. So just gives you an idea. Okay? You guys are, the anglers will love this reel. Yeah, it pairs up with this. I mean, this was my, I think I fished this most of the day, with the exception of flip it. So, one thing about the new Terramars, the lengths of the rods, 7.4 and 7.11. 7.4, 7.11. Why not sit 7.6? I don't know. Why you decided that. Okay. Good search bait. And then when it gets really tough, or if you know there's a lot of big fish in the area, they're out chasing big baits. Rip bait for me. And again, freshwater anglers, you know, it used to be one rod, one reel. One was a swim bait, one was an iron back in the day when we kind of all started doing this inshore stuff. I think Tom and Val used to hear some of my seminars way back when it was basically 2 or 3 rods, and that was it. Now it's like, you're tournament fishing, you've got a whole gamut. I know Keith and I, when we're beach fishing, we literally have 14, 15 total, 8 rods. You have to have, it's like golf. How many people golf here? Okay, golf, come on. One, how many sticks do you have? You usually have like 12. Well, about 12, 14 sticks in your bag. Yeah. It's the same application. You have different tools for different situations. You want to make sure. Can you use one rod and one reel for several different? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just, it feels different. The techniques applies differently. But I like throwing big rip bait. This happens to be a Lucky Craft 190 Magnum. You can order them online, or you can get them at Roger's shop. Last year he carries a bunch of these. They're not cheap. I think he sold them for 20 bucks now for one of these pretty little baits here. But I tell you, I've got more 8-pounders this last year on this bait. This is, and I know in the last Mission Bait tournament, this color right here was worth $1,000 in the tournament. Not that money means anything, but it does bring out big fish when the bite's tough. This color, blueback herring, also. There's a couple others that I didn't bring, but there's brown muskie. And basically what these are musky pipe lures. You know, for the Midwest.